Okay, so we've already completed discussing the first paper, April 2025 paper, and today we'll discuss October 2024 paper. But before getting into the paper, let me show you the chapters. Okay, all the chapters in EVS, and so this is the website, their official website, and you can see that this is environmental science. The code is 333, and it has module one, it has three chapters, and module two, there are four chapters, and module three, two chapters, and module four, five chapters. Okay, and then in module five, you have one, two, three, four chapters. Yeah, and then module six, sustainable development, you have four chapters, and module seven is environmental management, and it has four chapters. So these are the main modules. Okay, so the first one was environment through ages, and module two was ecological concepts and issues, and module three, human impact on environment, module four, contemporary environmental issues, and module five was environmental conservation. And module six is sustainable development. So these are the main categories, main modules. And module seven was environmental management. And here, module 8A is these, there are two different modules. In module 8A is water resource management, and module 8B is energy and environment. So you either have to learn either 8A or 8B. So in module 8, you have two options. So the first one is water resource management, where you have these chapters, okay, global circulation of water, groundwater, freshwater resources, methods, all of these chapters. Or if you prefer energy and environment, you can choose module B and you can learn these chapters. Okay, you don't have to learn both the modules, both the options together. Okay, you just have to learn only one of these options, module 8A, either 8A or module 8B. But you have to learn all the chapters because the questions can be taken from any one of the chapters. So this is your um, syllabus. Okay, this is your entire syllabus, and we've already discussed the question pattern. Okay, in the first one, we've already discussed the question pattern, and then I'll also show you the syllabus bifurcation. Here, see here, this is the syllabus bifurcation for environmental science, and so some of the chapters will be assigned for TMA, that is tutor mark assignment, where you'll be given assignment from your respective center, okay, and you have to finish the assignments and submit them on time. So that is your TMA, and 40% of the entire syllabus will be covered in TMA. So these are the topics that will be covered in TMA. So in these chapters, you'll be given assignments and you have to complete the assignments and send them. That's all. So that is your work. So these chapters, lesson 1, 7, 12, 16, 17, and all of them, they are in, TMA. And then you have 60% of the syllabus for public examination. That is lesson 2, 3 up to, 31, either A or B. Okay, this is your optional thing. So these chapters are there for your board exam, 60% of the topics. So this is how the syllabus is bifurcated. And now let's start the next question paper. This one is October 2024 question paper. Okay, so yeah, so I think we already discussed the question paper pattern and everything. So the first one, all 39 questions are compulsory. Okay, and yeah, so the marks is indicated against each one of them. And in the second one, you have the optional modules, either 8A or 8B. And here the marks is given. Some questions 1 to 16 have 1 marks, 70 to 24 are objective type 2 questions. And, fill in the blanks at true or false also carry 1 mark. And then 25 to 32 short answers, 2 marks. And then 33 to 34 again, long answer questions, 4 marks. And 35 to 36, 5 marks, long answers. And then 37 to 39 is also from optional modules, carry 2 marks. Yeah. So depending upon the marks allotted, you have to answer the questions. If it is a 1 mark question, you don't have to answer it elaborately, right? You just have to answer. Sometimes the answer might just be a single word, right? Okay, single word or a couple of words. So sometimes name something. So you just have to answer, give the answer as a single word. Or sometimes it might be a 2 marker. Then you should write at least 3 4 sentences, right? For a 2 marker, 3 4 sentences. So it depends. So depending upon the mark, you have to answer the questions. Yeah. So the first question, objective type 1, the order of correct sequence of human evolution among the following is, yeah, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Australopithecines, and Homo sapiens. You know that Homo sapiens is the last one, right? Okay, we humans, we belong to this species, Homo sapiens. But what about the earlier ones? The different combinations are also given. Hmm? So you have to learn it because this is also an important topic. Many questions will be asked from this, or what is their name, and what were the tools used by these people. Then so what was their profession? So all of these are very important topics. So what is the answer for this one? It is option C, Australopithecines, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and Homo sapiens. So this is the right answer. And then one of the consequences of global warming can be, yeah, what are the consequences? Allows heat radiations given out by Earth will escape. Large fish will move to cooler areas and thrive. Global temperature will be raised. Sea levels will be decreased. What will be the consequence of global warming? It is global temperature will be rising. Yeah. Okay. So it is a direct answer. You don't even have to think, huh? So it is a very direct answer. Option C. Global temperature will be raised. And the third one, counting of human population is called. What do you call it? It is called census. Census. It's not natality, density, or mortality. So these are different terms. Then the fourth one, rural folks are more homogeneous socially due to, yeah, homogeneous means belonging to the same category. And here, socially, they are more homogeneous. It means their social status is almost equal. You don't see huge differences in their social status. So, what is the reason for the homogeneous society in rural areas? Is it the caste system? Of course, it may be, but what is the direct answer? Follow of Indians somewhat their dominant occupation, agriculture, or simple living. What is the main reason for their homogeneous societies? It is because of their dominant occupation, agriculture. It means most of them will be involved in agriculture, right? So there won't be any huge status difference between the population because their dominant occupation is agriculture. Then the next one, deforestation refers to. Yeah. Okay. So what does this name refer? It refers to um, non-forest areas being converted to forest, agricultural pasture being converted to forest, human settlement being converted to forest, loss of tree cover from a land. So deforestation is removal of trees, right? Loss of tree cover from a land is called deforestation. And all of these are the consequences of deforestation, the other three. Yes. Sixth question, the great Indian bustard is a rare species of India as categorized by IUCN because, yeah. Okay, it is also a frequently asked question, the question about the great Indian bustard. Okay, so this is a type of bird. And why is it called a rare species? What is a rare species? Is it its numbers are continuously decreasing? Yes, they live in unusual environment, endemics, and are few in numbers. This is also true. They need special protection or else they may become extinct. Yeah, this status is not known. Yeah, so of all of these, even though all of them apply to the great Indian bustard, which is the most important thing because it has been categorized as rare species, right? So, what is the most appropriate answer? It is they need special protection, or else they may become extinct. Okay, so they might become extinct. So that's why uh, they come under the category of rare species. Yeah. And the next one. a more productive ecosystem than ocean or fresh water is. Yeah. Okay. Oceans and freshwater, they are, an ecosystem in themselves. They have a variety of organisms. But which one is more productive? It is it a mangrove, estuary, reservoir, and or lake? All of them are different ecosystems, but of all of these, mangrove is the more productive ecosystem. Hmm? Yes. The next one, the base of the ecological pyramid consists of the base of the ecological pyramid. The base means the bottommost layer. So what would it be? Herbivores, carnivores, producers, or omnivores? Of course, it's going to be the producers, right? Producers. Then, under the Montreal Protocol amended in 1990, it was decided to completely phase out, yeah, which chemical? Is it CNG, tetraethyl lead, CFC, or SPM? Yeah, because a huge damage has been detected, okay, in the ozone layer, and they wanted to protect the ozone layer. Because some chemicals which are released from the earth, they started depleting the ozone layer. So then, so which chemical was it? It is CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, CFC. The 10th one, the phenomenon of nutrient enrichment of a water body is called its. Yeah, we already discussed this in our first question paper, right? So what is this phenomenon called? Biological demand for oxygen, point source depletion, eutrophication, point source pollution. So what is this process called? It is called eutrophication, where because of continuous addition of organic matter, addition of nutrients like nitrates and phosphates, the water body becomes so enriched with nutrients such that all of the aquatic organisms like algae and also what some plants, okay, they will start growing in excess because of the nutrient rich water. And what happens, they will cover the topmost layer, okay, they will cover the entire top layer of the water body, preventing sunlight from entering the layers beneath the surface. Okay. So then what happens? All of the organisms, they won't be able to get enough oxygen. So that is one thing. And also when these organisms die out, their bodies, when they are being decomposed by bacteria, these bacteria absorb a lot of oxygen from the water. So thereby depleting the water of oxygen. So this results in the aquatic organisms dying out because they won't be able to get enough oxygen. So that is what we call eutrophication. Then the carrying capacity of the environment refers to. Yeah. So what is meant by carrying capacity? Is it availability of many resources, maximum load that the environment can withstand, population growth, rate of consumption of natural resources? What is the answer? The carrying capacity refers to the maximum load that the environment can withstand. Okay, it is option B. The next one, the substitute for petroleum in some conventional engines, which is obtained from vegetable oil, is, yeah. Okay, so it is uh, a substitute, okay, for petroleum. So what is it? It is biodiesel. Biodiesel. Then the provision for penalties or punishment to prevent poaching and illegal trade was introduced in the, yeah. Okay. So in which act? Biodiversity Act, Project Elephant, Project Tiger, Wildlife Act. It was the Wildlife Act. Okay, so in this act enabled, governments to what to sue people who breach all of these rules. Yeah. The next one, optional module A, MCQ. The untreated household water which has not come into it is not came, it is come. Which has not come into contact with toilet waste is, yeah. So wastewater, grey water, surface water, black water. So what is it? It is grey water. Okay, we call it grey water. Then 15th one, TBS water conservation model was pioneered by, yeah. So who pioneered this water conservation model? Manguram Rajendra Singh, Vidyut Joshi, Jai Prakash Rai. It was pioneered by Rajendra Singh. Then the next one, artificial recharge, percolation tank method, and catchment area protection are techniques to manage and conserve. Yeah, these are techniques to manage and conserve what? Rainwater or groundwater, wastewater or recycled water. These are techniques to manage and conserve groundwater. Just to maintain the groundwater level, these are all the different techniques. And then optional module B, energy and environment. Photovoltaic cells are made up of silicon and are used to convert. Yeah, so what do photovoltaic cells do? What do they convert? Electrical energy into solar, hydropower to electrical energy, nuclear energy to solar energy to electrical energy. The answer is solar energy to electrical energy. Okay, so photovoltaic means photo means light, right? So they are using sunlight and it is converted into electrical energy. Then the next one, the highly efficient power generating system that produces electricity by combining fuel and oxygen in electrochemical reaction is. So what is the power generating system? Biomass, fuel cell, hydrogen energy, or geothermal cells, it is fuel cell. Yeah. Okay. Then the next one, CFL, eco house, and solar kitchen concepts are in or related to an. Yeah. These are all you can see that these are all eco-friendly measures, right? CFL, eco house, and solar kitchen. Then they are related to energy deficient town. Deficient means a town which does not have enough energy, energy neutral town, energy efficient town, and a non-renewable energy technique. So it refers to all of these things. They refer to an energy efficient town. So a town which knows how to effectively manage its energy. Then write the names of the kind of forests found in India on the basis of features listed below. Yeah. The first one is tropical trees found in Chota Nagpur Plateau, which cast their leaves for about 6 to 8 weeks in summer. Yeah. So these are the trees, and you have to identify the type of forest. So where do you see tropical trees? As in Chota Nagpur Plateau, and these trees also shed their leaves. Okay, they are not evergreen trees. They shed their leaves for about 6 to 8 weeks in summer. It is tropical deciduous forest. Deciduous means leaves just shed their trees, right? Okay, it is the opposite of evergreen. Tropical deciduous forest. Then the next one, trees which are found in places with plenty of rainfall and sunshine throughout the year. Yeah. So what do we call these trees? Which are found in places with plenty of rainfall and sunshine. It is tropical evergreen forest. Tropical evergreen forest. Then the next one. Answer the following questions in 1 or 2 sentences. See, 15 to 20 words. Okay, the number of words is also mentioned. So you don't have to answer them in detail. Just stick to maybe you can go maybe 5, 6 words more, but that's not a problem. But don't give your answers in detail and don't waste your time. So the first one, because there are 6 questions and each question carries just 1 mark, right? Okay, so just 1 mark. So use your time judiciously. The first one, intake of groundwater with increased level of nitrates by infants results in a kind of anemia, right? Okay, so intake of groundwater with a lot of nitrates, it will cause severe sickness in infants, right? It will produce anemia. Then what is the condition called? It is called methemoglobin anemia. Methemoglobin anemia. This is the condition. Okay, then the second one, Himalayan and peninsular regions are covered with endemic flora. What do you understand by the term endemic? Yeah, so what is meant by endemic? Species, it could be a plant or tree, species which are found only in one particular region and you won't find them anywhere else in the world. Okay, they will be restricted to only one particular region. So such species are called endemic. So endemic species are plant restricted to a specific geographic region found nowhere else naturally. Okay, so that is a endemic species. Internal migration within a country does not affect its total population size. Why? Yeah, because the total population means it takes into account the total number of people living in the country. It does not account for the people living in one state or another, because we can see that constantly people will be moving from place to place, right? Okay, so therefore, you cannot account for each and every movement, but overall, the total population of the country will be the same, right? Because unless the person moves out of the country, if the person stays in the country, he could be living in any state, but he'll still be counted, in the total population. Mhm. Yeah. So internal migration, migration within a country only redistributes people geographically, leaving the total population size unchanged. Okay, so total population size is unchanged. Yeah. Then the next one, how floating masses of water hyacinth helps in removing pollutants from wastewater. Yeah, you must have seen this water hyacinth, right? Okay, so the question is, how does this floating mass help in removing pollutants from wastewater? Yeah, so here, water hyacinth or floating masses absorb nutrients and heavy metals, thereby reducing pollutants from wastewater efficiently. Okay, so what do? They just absorb nutrients and heavy metals. Okay, nutrients and heavy metals, and therefore they will reduce pollutants. Then the next one. What are the three zones of a biosphere reserve? Yeah. Okay, so even in our earlier question paper, we came across the same question, right? You were asked to draw the figure also, right? Okay, so here the question is, what are the three zones of biosphere reserve? What are the three zones? Core zone, buffer zone, and transition zone from the three functional areas. And yeah, you can explain, right? Core zone is the interior, the innermost layer, and the innermost layer should contain, nobody is allowed to enter this region, right? Okay, because it will have a very rich biodiversity. So people are not allowed to enter the region unless, for maybe some authorized people. Say, for example, if they have to go and take a census of the animals and birds, they'll get enter. Otherwise, entry is restricted to only selected people. Okay, no, common man cannot enter this region. And then the buffer zone, it is it is the zone which covers the core zone. So you can say it acts as a protective covering for the core zone. But in the buffer zone, some amount of activity is allowed, right? So people are allowed to study about the animals and plants, and then they are allowed to take photography, do some research for research work for thesis or whatever. Okay, so people are allowed in the buffer zone. And then we have the transition zone. In the transition zone, sometimes we do have some settlements also. Some people, okay, people, they will live there, and they have access to the buffer zone. Hmm? And yeah, so these are the three zones. This is also a very important question, a frequently asked question. Then, Azolla biofertilizers has one limiting factor. What is it? Yeah, this is their short answer. Okay. So what is the limiting factor of Azolla biofertilizer? Its growth is restricted by temperature extremes, as it thrives only in warm, humid condition. Okay, so it is an effective biofertilizer, but the problem is it will um, grow. Okay, so this fertilizer will grow only in warm and humid conditions. Okay, so if the temperature becomes too hot or too cold, then the biofertilizer, it won't be as effective. So that is the limitation of Azolla biofertilizer. Okay. Then the next question. Answer the following questions in one word only. So here, you should just answer in one words. Okay, but each question carries 1 mark. An appropriate technique for efficient cleanup from garbage accumulation and can be prepared in the backyard of your home. Yeah, so what is the technique? It is called composting, right? Where you're utilizing all of the bio waste, and you'll be adding some dry leaves and some, you know, maybe some, cocoa peat or something, okay? And you'll be converting it into um, compost. Yes. Then the next one, a cropping practice in which two or more crops are grown all at the same time. Yeah. So what is this practice called? It is called mixed cropping, right? Okay. So they will be grown at the same time. And then the third one, name the act which aims at regulating access to biological resources so as to ensure equitable sharing of benefits, right, arising from their use. Okay, so there is an act which which regulates the access to environmental resources so as to ensure equitable sharing of benefits. Okay, so what is this act called? This act is called Biodiversity Act. Okay, a very important act. So there are many acts mentioned in your EVS textbooks. Okay, so many acts and some conventions, and so you have to learn about each one of the acts. Okay, then what was the purpose of each one of the acts? Here. Mhm. Then the fourth one, identify the legislation or act which provides for setting up of National Biodiversity Authority and State Biodiversity Authority. Okay, so what is the legislation or act which provides for setting up of these institutions? Yeah, so what is the act? It is Biological Diversity Act 2002. Biological Diversity Act. Yes. Then fifth one, the process of reusing wastewater from industrial or domestic sources after proper treatment. Yeah. So what is this process called? It is a frequent, in a very common thing, right? The process of reusing wastewater from industrial or domestic sources. Yeah. So what is this called? Recycling, right? Recycled water. Yeah. Then the next one, fill in the blanks by using appropriate words. Mm. So the first one. So the words are already given. So you don't have to, um, okay, all you have to do is just select the words. The first one, a framework for international cooperation for the conservation and wise use of wetland and habitats. So what is this framework? What is it called? The Ramsar Convention. Okay, it is the Ramsar Convention. Then the second one, the Convention for the Protection of Ozone Layer. It is called Montreal Protocol. So because the convention, it was, when the people gathered at this place, Montreal. Then convention held in Japan on climate change objectives is, what is the convention called? Kyoto Protocol. Okay, so it is Kyoto Protocol. Go ahead signal or the environmental clearance is granted by the dash in the Ministry of Environment and Forests. Yeah, it is granted by Impact Assessment Agency. Okay, so it is granted by Impact Assessment Agency. Yeah. Then the next question, write the following statement is true or false. So the first one, five-star refrigerator is least efficient than one-star refrigerator. Yeah, so what do you think? All of us, we have refrigerators in our homes, right? Okay, so of the refrigerators, which refrigerator will be more efficient, five-star rating or a one-star rating? It is a five-star rating. Yeah, because it means if it has a five-star, it means it conserves a lot of energy. Mm. Then mm, Nile perch, an exotic predatory fish, eliminated small cichlid fish in a freshwater aquatic ecosystem. Yeah. So is it true or false? It is true. This Nile perch, an exotic predator, eliminated small cichlid fish in freshwater ecosystem. It has actually done that. Then the next one. 4:6 ratio of a country is suggesting that there is no discrimination against male. Is it true? No. Okay, poor sex ratio shows that females are not wanted in some families, right? Okay, so they always prefer male child because they think that a girl child is a burden, right? Because they have to spend a huge amount of money for marrying them off, right? So a poor sex ratio always shows that people are going in favor of boys. Then, mhm. Optional module, yay. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay. So, so then optional module A, water resource management. Okay. So the first question, certain aquatic areas require special protection. Why? So this is a question and this is a one marker, right? Just one mark. So you can just write two or three sentences that will do. So why do they require special protection? Because these areas, they require special protection because they are highly sensitive ecosystems, right? Highly sensitive means the ecosystem it has a very delicate structure so that even some amount of external influence can easily disturb the ecosystem, can easily alter the lives of the animals. Yeah. So that's why it is a highly sensitive ecosystem, rich in biodiversity and easily disturbed by pollution or overuse. So safeguarding them ensures conservation of rare species. So that's why we have to protect them, just to protect all of those species of organisms there. We'll have to protect them, we have to safeguard them. And then maintenance of ecological balance and sustainable use of water resources. Yeah. So the next one, write two precautions while storing rain harvested water in cisterns. Yeah, okay, we've already learned in detail about rainwater harvesting, right? It is also an important topic, how rainwater can be harvested and stored. And when we are storing rainwater in cisterns, what are the precautionary measures that have to be taken? The first one, cover the cistern properly to prevent contamination from dust, insects, and mosquitoes, right? Because these are a common menace, right? So you have to cover it properly, because otherwise dust might enter, or sometimes insects and mosquitoes, then they will multiply, right? So you just have to cover it properly. And the second one is clean and disinfect regularly to avoid bacterial growth and maintain water quality. Yeah. Okay. So it has to be cleaned. The cistern should be cleaned, and it should be disinfected regularly, and to avoid bacterial growth and to maintain water quality. Yes. Then the next one, watershed management helps in promoting water conservation. How? Yeah. Okay. So watershed management, how does it help in promoting water conservation? So the first one, watershed management promotes water conservation by reducing runoff, increasing groundwater recharge, right? Okay, because you're collecting water, right? So you're collecting water, so the runoff water will be reduced. So, and also increasing groundwater recharge. So as all the water is, gets inside the groundwater will also get recharged, and ensuring efficient utilization of rainwater, right? Okay, so the rainwater is efficiently utilized because it is fresh water, right? Okay, so it can be utilized for any purpose, be it drinking or cooking, for any household purpose. So we are ensuring that the rainwater is efficiently utilized, and it helps maintain soil moisture, prevents erosion, and supports sustainable water availability. Right. Okay. So it also, since you are letting in the water to just seep inside the ground, it also helps maintaining the soil moisture, and it prevents erosion because you're not letting the water run off, right? And supports sustainable water availability for agriculture and communities. Yeah. Okay, so it makes more and more water available for us to use. So that is watershed management. And the next one, optional module B, energy and environment. Yeah. The first one, wind energy is an indirect form of solar energy. Justify. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So there are many different forms of energy, right? Okay. Conventional sources like petrol, diesel, and all of these, coal. And then we have non-conventional sources like we have solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, hydro, not hydro, it comes under, uh, yeah. Okay. So then, why is wind energy an indirect form of solar energy? It is considered an indirect form of solar energy because uneven heating of Earth's surface by the sun creates pressure difference which generates winds. Right? Okay. So we can say that what causes these winds? It is the uneven heating of Earth's surfaces, right? Okay. So if the gases in one region become very hot, then the gases will rise up, and just to fill in this empty space, some colder air from some other place will it will blow towards this place, right? This is a wind's blow. So you can say that wind is also a consequence of the sun's heat energy, right? It is only because of sun's heating that you get all of the different the layer getting heated up and it rising up, and then the next cooler air from the next region getting into this region. So all of this is because of sunlight. So we can say that wind energy is an indirect form of solar energy. Then Jatropha Karkas is considered as an important petro plant. Why? Yeah, this is also a very frequently asked question. Okay, so it is considered an important petro plant because it sees yield no non-edible oil that can be processed into biodiesel, serving as a renewable substitute for petroleum-based fuels. Yeah. Okay, so this plant produces some quality fuel. It can't be used as an oil, but it can be used as a fuel processed into biodiesel, and it is a renewable substitute, right? Because you can grow as many plants as you want. So this makes it valuable for sustainable energy production and reducing dependence on fossil fuels. So this has become a very valuable plant. Yeah. What does process modification mean in energy conservation in industry? Process modification. Yeah. So it means changing or redesigning existing production processes to reduce energy use. Yeah. Okay. So in industries, a lot of energy will be used, right? So if we are able to make some changes in the setup so that it lowers the energy consumption in the industry, so it will help the industry, right? Okay. Um, so it involves adopting more efficient techniques, improving technology, and minimizing waste so that the same output is achieved with less energy consumption. Okay, so we can adopt a more efficient technique, or we can also improve the technology, right? And minimizing waste. Yes. Okay. Then the next one, subjective part, core module subjective part. Fill in the blanks 1 to 4 based on 4 factors on which density of a population depends. Yeah, so this is the picture. Here, this density refers to population density. So some factors contribute to the density, right? 1 and 4, they add to density, and 2 and 3, they are subtracted from density. Okay, so what are the things? Immigration adds to density. And then natality, it reduces density, right? Okay. And then, sorry, natality is an addition, right? Okay. Natality means children being born. So it adds to the population density, whereas mortality reduces the density. And emigration means people moving out. It will also reduce the density, right? Okay. So this is the answer. Then, how is Hierarch succession different from hierarch? So what are these terms? These are terms used in, in ecosystem development. Yeah. So how habitats are being developed. So the first one, see, Xerox succession, what happens? It begins in dry, bare areas. Hmm? And what are the initial conditions? Very little water, high temperature, intense sunlight, poor soil. So basically, you can say it is almost similar to a desert, right? Where you don't see any vegetation. It's quite hot, there is no water. So that is the condition. Then what will be the pioneer species? Lichens and mosses. Okay. So some small varieties, lichens and mosses. And then these should be tolerant to dryness, right? Otherwise, they won't be able to survive in that hot region. They should be tolerant to dryness. This will be the pioneer species. Then direction of change, environment gradually becomes more moist and fertile as organic matter accumulates. Then what happens? Slowly and gradually, more and more plants will start growing. And just to feed on these plants and everything, some insects and everything will also come. Okay, so this is the intermediate communities, right? Moss, herbs, shrubs. So from moss, you have herbs, and from the herbs, you'll have shrubs, and from the shrubs, you have trees. So these are the intermediate communities. And what will be the climax community? Leads to a mestic forest, moderate moisture conditions. Okay, so you can see a fully developed forest will be there in a long time period. Okay, it won't happen in a short time period. It will take a lot of time. But anyway, finally, it will develop into evolve into a full-fledged forest, which contains a lot of trees and small plants, shrubs, and will also house, yeah, if there are a lot of trees and plants, then there are going to be a number of animals, right? A lot of animals and birds and everything will be there. So this will be the final condition. So it might start as a very, dry desert-like region, but finally it can evolve into a full-fledged forest, but it will take a lot of time. But it can happen. So this is your Xerac succession. And then what is Hydrac succession? It begins in wet areas because hydro means wet regions, right? Okay, so it begins in wet areas like ponds, lakes, and marshes, and excess water, low oxygen in soil, and submerged or waterlogged conditions. So, what is the problem here? It has excess water. Okay, so then the oxygen mixed in the soil is also very low, and submerged or waterlogged conditions. So, most of the region will be completely submerged with water. Then, what will be the first pioneer species? It's going to be phytoplankton, algae, and submerged plants, right? Okay, so these will be the pioneer species, phytoplankton, algae, and submerged plants. Then slowly, environment gradually becomes drier as water bodies fill with sediments. Then slowly, what happens as more and more organic matter gets added, slowly the water bodies will become drier and drier. Okay, they won't be as moist as they used to be. Then gradually, submerged plants will start developing, floating plants and reed swamps and meadows. So all of these will start developing in the region. Then what will be the climax community? It also leads to a mystic forest, moderate moisture conditions. So finally, it will develop into a forest. So this is how a hydrarch region develops. The succession proceeds from wet to dry condition. But in this one, in Xerarch, succession proceeds from dry to moist conditions, right? So anything can happen. Hmm? Right, and you can see that everything happens naturally, right? Okay, and a full-fledged forest forms in both the cases, but it is, the humans have nothing to do with it. It happens, it has to happen naturally. Yeah. Okay, then the next one. How is rural society different from urban society with reference to following factors? Community size and population density. Yeah. So community size, rural society is small in size and people live in villages with limited households, right? Okay. The society itself, the community size itself is very small, maybe a few hundred people, right? In a village. And mm, urban society, it is large in size, right? Maybe, okay, lakhs and lakhs of people live in cities. So large in size, cities and towns have a vast number of households. Yeah, you have lakhs and lakhs of households also. They live in apartments and, in communities, in all the different places. And then population density, low population density. Yeah, we've already discussed that. Even though it is a huge area, the number of people living in the area is going to be very less, right? So the population density will also be very less. And the houses are scattered, more open space, less crowding. Okay, so the houses will be scattered and you'll have a lot of open spaces. But in urban societies, there is high population density and houses and buildings are close together and they are more crowded also because a lot of people live in cities, right? Okay, and continuously the population in cities keeps on increasing. Then the next one. Write two ways by which development can take place without causing damage and destruction to environment. Yeah, so there should be development, but it should not damage the environment, right? So how can it be done? Use of renewable resources, right? Okay, so even while planning, you should make sure that all of these renewable resources are being used, promoting solar, wind, and hydropower instead of fossil fuels. That is one thing. And then this reduces pollution and conserves non-renewable resources. Yeah. Okay. So it will also reduce pollution and it will conserve non-renewable resources. And then sustainable practices. What are some of the sustainable practices that can be done? Adopting eco-friendly technologies, recycling, and proper waste management, right? Okay, so if we follow these practices, then we can, uh, um, you know, uh, development can be done without compromising. Then ensures that development meets present needs without compromising future generations. This is the basic motto. Okay, you should be able to meet your present needs, but at the same time, you should not compromise on the options available for our future generations. So, yeah. Then the next one, deforestation leads to soil erosion justified. This is a very important topic, right? Deforestation. So, how does deforestation lead to soil erosion? We've already discussed what is meant by deforestation, right? Deforestation is removal of the forest cover. Hmm? And so the first one is loss of protective cover. Yeah, trees and plants hold the soil firmly with their roots. And I think we already discussed this in a past paper, right? Okay. So they hold the soil firmly in their with their roots. And when forests are cut, this binding is lost, making soil loose and easily washed away. So once this network of roots, once it is gone, then the soil will become loose and it can easily be washed away by wind and rain. So that is the first thing. Then the second one is reduced organic matter. Yeah, because organic matter, where do we get this organic matter from? From the trees and plants, right? Okay, they are the major contributors for organic matter. So if you do deforestation, if you remove all the trees, then the availability of organic matter will also be reduced. Yeah. So forests add leaf litter and humus, which improves soil fertility and structure. So without vegetation, the soil becomes dry, less fertile, and more prone to erosion. Yeah. So leaf litter. Leaf litter means all of this what? Um, Dry leaves and also humus. Okay. So all of this. And yeah. Then the next one, increased runoff. Forests slow down rainwater and allow it to seep into the ground. Yeah, okay. So if you have a lot of trees, then these trees have a natural tendency to absorb water, right? Okay. So therefore, they will slow down rainwater and they'll also absorb water. And deforestation increases surface runoff, carrying away the top fertile layer of soil. So uh, deforestation will also cause rainwater to wash away the top layer of the soil because you don't have the network of roots to hold the soil tightly in its place. So if there is a heavy rain and all of the top soil can easily be washed away. Hmm? Yeah. Then, how is environmental legislation important for environmental improvement and conservation? Yeah. So how is this legislation important? So environmental legislation is important for environment improvement and conservation because the first one, regulation of human activities. Yeah, okay, because we humans, we need some rules to just to, make them behave properly, right? Okay, so if there are no rules, then um, we won't, follow any, say we will exploit nature, right? Okay, so that's why they've mm, framed a number of rules. So, regulation of human activity, laws, control pollution, deforestation, and overexploitation of natural resources. And then this prevents reckless use of the environment. Otherwise, they will exploit nature so much. Okay. So that's why these rules are there in place. And then protection of ecosystems. Yeah. Okay. Legislation ensures conservation of forests, wildlife, and biodiversity. Okay, so everything will be protected because the humans are not allowed to interfere with these ecosystems, right? Okay, so it makes sure that they thrive. And then it safeguards endangered species and fragile habitats. Yeah. Okay, so all of the endangered species and the fragile means delicate, okay, delicate habitats, all of them will be protected by these legislations, these laws. Then promotion of sustainable development. Yeah. Okay, so just by enforcing these practices, we help promote, sustainability, right? Okay, so and it ensures resources are available for future generation, and also since people are prevented, they're not allowed to exploit nature and natural resources. Okay, so therefore, the future generation will also have enough access. They will also have enough, resources in their future. Then accountability and enforcement. So it provides a legal framework to punish violators and encourage compliance, right? Okay. So if people violate the law, then they can be punished. They can even be arrested, they can be fined. So everything. So that gives them accountability, right? And then strengthens public awareness and responsibility towards the environment. Okay. So it just strengthens public awareness and responsibility. Yeah. Okay, so we still have some more questions, but I think we'll have to continue in our next class. Okay, so tomorrow we'll continue the other questions. Okay, see you.